Anyway, if we go back even further to the year 1666.
Interesting
Yeah.
segue.
Yeah, you
Ooh.
see? Yeah.
So yeah, this is the other Kickstarter we're going to be looking at today is Anno Domini 1660. This 666,
1660
and this is by Wargamer Game Studios. You may remember them; they're the guys behind games like By Fire and Sword, which is a very cool game as well. And this is a skirmishing game where you play with around 5 to 12 different models per side in a historical setting, which also has some fantastical elements thrown into the mix as well. It's a game system that's done away with dice, and it uses a very cool card-based system in terms of the mechanics and how that all comes together, which is always nice to see because I really like that way of mitigating luck factors in games. It's one of the big things that makes me has drawn me to Gloomhaven, for example, as well. It's really cool, and of course, Malifaux is the mother of all these ones too. The game is played out on some really, really lovely looking lavish boards where you play through different scenarios and things like that. Games can take as little as maybe half an hour up to maybe an hour and a half on the number of models you want to throw into the mix. They've got some very, very cool models within the main faction box there. So you've got the likes of the Defenders of the Crown. We've got the Royal Musketeers, which I'm sure everyone will be very familiar with. And then we've got the colourful locals as well that you'll be meeting on your travels, which is really nice too. I believe as well, all the models are one piece, and you can either get them in like their plasticky resin, or you can get them as metal models if you want through the campaign, which is very, very cool indeed. There are a whole bunch of extra factions planned for this game as well. They're really, really drawing on this idea of it being historically inspired. So it's very much based in reality, but then it has this tie back into a fantasy element as well, almost looking back into kind of how the people at the time would have viewed the world, and that being the element of fantasy they bring in here, which is really cool. So you've got the likes of the Envoy of the High Port, you've got the Order of the Broken Cross, which is sort of like the protagonist within this world as well, which is really cool. And then of course there's some werewolves, because you kind of have a game set in Eastern Europe without werewolves, and that's the fantasy expansion called Blood Moon, which is very cool as well. So yeah, I believe you guys have actually done a cool interview with them as well, which is really nice, which we shared on the site earlier this week, I think. So
yeah, and we were talking about the Brotherhood there, and I'm totally sold on these guys. That is gorgeous work. I love this guy with the crossbow with the winding handles on the side. That is such a nice detail to have.
Now, you see, this is going to be an interesting thing because I'm, for once, I am geeking out about the fantasy side of things because it's from all that folklore and period of literature I love.
Yeah.
But I'm actually geeking out about a historical part of this because from my HEMA, I look at a lot of the old fencing manuals, and it's great to see the attention into the stances with a lot of these sculpts, even right down to the footwork, proper fencing footwork with a lot of them.
That's really cool. Yeah. I believe it's one of the things that the designer talked very much in depth about when it comes to the game itself. Like we did a little bit of a preview article a couple of weeks ago as well, and that one of the big things they brought up in that was this idea that they want everything to have a very historical grounding because that's what they love and that's what they do. They do historical games, like if you look at By Fire and Sword, and there are so many amazing stories to be told from this kind of Eastern European side of culture and society, and it's very, very cool to see this coming down to the tabletop and being played out in this really nice skirmishy narrative way as well. So
it's superb. It's a dark setting I absolutely love. Basically, this game was made for me. I love this game.
I love the way they designed their images to show whether it's unlocked or not. It's such a simple thing, but seeing the open lock with the gate thing pulled apart, if we scroll further down, that's unlocked, and that's now locked.
Yeah.
That is such a clever little piece of design. I love it.
Yeah,
they've been doing some really good stuff with the stretch goals for this, and really communicating back with the community as well, and seeing what they like as well. So
yeah.
Well, having seen the quality of the models these guys can produce, I'm expecting something exceptional here.
Yeah, I really want to see more of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see more musketeers. I want to see more vampires and werewolves. I want to see the folklore and the fencing and the fighting and the glaive and.
Just in case you're interested about the model quality, there is actually a little bit of a preview on their Kickstarter page. So if you want to go and check out what the traditional model will look like that everybody will get, and what the uncoated metal model will look like as well, you can go and check that out as well. So yeah, go and have a look.